Hey guys, Cam with The Real World here. Thanks so much for joining us. Make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified of all our videos. Today we're going to take a look at some of my favorite movies in my collection that I like to watch every year around this time, around Halloween. Watch some fun horror movies. It's always a good time. Alright guys, Cam with The Real World here. Today we are taking a look at some of my favorite horror thriller films in my collection. So we got quite a few to get through here. I'm just going to jump right in. It should be a lot of fun. Let me know which ones of these are your favorites, which ones you watch every year around this time, and leave a comment below. Make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified of all our videos. Share this on social media. I'd really appreciate it. Let's dive right in. All right, so first up is this Universal Monsters collection. I just did a full breakdown of this video, so I'm not going to unpackage it or anything, but it comes with 8 classic horror films, some of the most popular movie monsters of all time: Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, all that good stuff. So check that one out. That one's a lot of fun. Next up is from the Criterion Collection, Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca. This is one of my favorites from that director. Did a great job with this. It's kind of like a haunted house type movie. It's got a very atmospheric quality to it. Made back in 1940, all black and white. Great Criterion transfer on that one. And then we have The Night of the Hunter, one of my favorite movies of all time. It is Robert Mitchum and Shelley Winters, directed by Charles Laughton. Great film. Then we have Akira Kurosawa's Throne of Blood, if you want something unique. Samurai kind of take on Macbeth. Very moody, creepy kind of movie. Then we have The Seventh Seal with Max von Sydow. Ingmar Bergman directed this back in the 1950s. Great, another kind of very moody, atmospheric type of film. Classic sci-fi B-movie horror film, The Blob, starring Steve McQueen, all in Technicolor. Great drive-in movie. The Sword of Doom. This is one of my favorite sort of underrated samurai movies. Very creepy, from the 1960s. Great film. Then we also have Night of the Living Dead. Technically one of the first zombie movies. The first very popular one. George A. Romero kicked off his career in the 1960s. Definitely worth checking out. Jumping into the 1970s, we have Duel, the first film by Steven Spielberg. Originally made for television, later got a theatrical release. This Blu-ray is, I think, the only release they've had. I don't think it has a 4K release yet, so check that one out. If you want to go for horror comedy, Young Frankenstein, one of Mel Brooks' best films with Gene Wilder. Another Spielberg, Jaws. Takes place over the 4th of July weekend, but it's also a great one for Halloween. Of course, the original Alien film, my favorite of the entire Alien series. Ridley Scott directed. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Can't go wrong with that one of the scariest ever made. And then we have a double feature here, Sam Raimi's 2 Evil Dead movies, Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. Definitely worth watching. And then, of course, the third film, this is the Shout Factory Blu-ray. It's got tons of bonus features, 3 different cuts of the movie. This is the third Evil Dead film, Army of Darkness. Staying with the 1980s theme, An American Werewolf in London. This is the Arrow video box set. So it's got this nice cardboard case here. You slip it out, you've got the movie on 4K. Very nicely done. Comes with these extras, bonus features, poster of the film. Nice little booklet here on the making of the movie. Very nicely done. Then we've got John Carpenter's The Thing, starring Kurt Russell. One of the best kind of sci-fi horror movies. Then we have Poltergeist. Poltergeist, really good. Spielberg produced that one. The Terminator, of course, the original Terminator is a great horror action thriller. Joe Dante's Gremlins and Gremlins 2, the new batch, which I think it might be even better than the original. The first Gremlins actually takes place during Christmas, but of course it's a great watch for Halloween as well. Closing out the 1980s with one of my favorite comedies, The Burbs with Tom Hanks. Hilarious movie we watch every year. Jumping into the 90s, we have Tremors, which is a lot of fun, kind of a creature feature. From Dusk Till Dawn. If you don't know the twist, it's a lot of fun. It kind of starts as one type of movie, then ends as a different type of movie. Robert Rodriguez did this. George Clooney stars, and it's a lot of fun. Staying in the 90s, but the end of the 90s, the Mummy remake with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz is a good kind of reinvention of the classic Mummy tale. More of a kind of Indiana Jones type adventure, but still has some horror moments in there. I also like the sequel, The Mummy Returns. Guillermo del Toro released this film, The Devil's Backbone. This is the Criterion edition. It's a great kind of ghost story set against a kind of historical moment in Mexico. Definitely worth checking out. Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, the remake of the George A. Romero sequel to Night of the Living Dead. I think this is better than the original. It's a really, really great kind of action film, great mix of characters, good acting, good stuff. Another Guillermo del Toro film, kind of more of a fantasy, dark fantasy film, Pan's Labyrinth. This is my favorite of all of his films. This Criterion edition is excellent. I Am Legend. Really like this one, kind of a vampire zombie post-apocalyptic film. The original Cloverfield, excellent found footage horror movie about a giant monster attacking New York City. And then the sequel, 10 Cloverfield Lane, I think is equally as good. A different type of movie, small cast, but it's a really good one. Then we have another comedy here, Zombieland. Great cast, Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, Abigail Breslin, all do a great job. The sequel is not as good, but this one is great. Then we have this Wolfman, the Wolfman from 2010. Benicio del Toro, Anthony Hopkins, Hugo Weaving, Emily Blunt, all do a great job in here. Joe Johnston, one of my favorite directors, directed this, and it is a great kind of retelling of that classic Wolfman story. After COVID, this one is very scary. It's called Contagion. Not technically a horror movie, but like I said, after living through a pandemic, it's pretty freaky. Train to Busan, my favorite zombie movie ever made. Korean film, very, very well made. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. The sequel to that, Peninsula, I didn't like it quite as much, but it's a more action-oriented film, and it's definitely worth a watch. Overlord, this is kind of a Nazi zombie movie. Starts off as a regular kind of World War II movie and morphs into something very different by the end. Definitely worth checking out. A Quiet Place, I'm a huge fan of this film. John Krasinski directed and starred in it with his wife, Emily Blunt, playing a married couple with children they're trying to protect from monsters outside. It is very, very scary. And then the sequel, A Quiet Place Part 2, I thought was just as good, if not even better than the first one. Looking forward to Part 3, and the prequel they're making, Day 1, is coming soon. So definitely check those out. And then last but not least is Nope. All three of Jordan Peele's films, Get Out, Us, and Nope, are all definitely worth watching around this time of year. All have heavy horror vibes. This one has more of a sci-fi angle to it, but all are great. All right, folks, well, that's it for the horror movie marathon, horror movie collection, I guess you could say. It's not a favorite genre of mine, but I've got quite a few here that kind of fall into that category, some different angles on horror. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified of all our videos. Leave a comment below with your favorite of this list. Let me know what other movies you guys watch this time of year. And we'll see you next time right here on The Real World.